So you may have thought about buying, but then you went on Redfin just to see how much that property was. And maybe you cried a little bit. It's perfectly normal. I want to let you know that if you're in California, that's a normal feeling, okay? Especially because nowadays Zillow, Redfin, they have a little calculator at the bottom that shows you like how much your monthly payment would be. And it's just freaking cruel, man. Like, it's not cool. I know the California real estate market feels absolutely impossible, but I'm telling you right now, it's not. This video is all about solutions to get your foot in the door, to get you to think creatively about how can I get into my first home, and don't make the same mistakes I did while trying to reach for that goal. I'm gonna tell you what I did right as a first-time buyer, what I did wrong as a first-time buyer, and how, now that I'm an agent, I'm giving you the lessons I wish I would have known, okay? So stay tuned to the end. If you want home buying strategies that actually work for like real people, go ahead and subscribe to the channel because that's what I'm giving you here today. The first mistake, maybe I shouldn't call it a mistake, but the first fallacy that you might see with first-time California home buyers is that they have to be married, they have to have a family in order to buy a home. Let me tell you right now, those rents are going up regardless of whether or not you find the one. Okay, so you will pay family prices even if you are not coupled. So I want you to step out of the pocket. Don't think about what your parents or God forbid your grandparents did to get into that home. Think about you. Think about now. Think about your environment. Think about your job. Think about your life. Think about where you want to be, because you're going to need all that information to make an informed decision about where you're going to live. And we want you to have a home, not because I'm an agent, but because it makes literal mathematical lifetime sense, guys. Hello. They always say the rent is too damn high, but guess what? The rent is going up. Okay. So the maximum a landlord can raise your rent in LA County is 8.9%. Almost 10%, guys, 10% per year. I remember thinking before I was a homeowner, looking at someone's paperwork who just bought a condo in Long Beach, California. At the time, I was paying like $1,200 a month for a 1-bedroom apartment in Long Beach, California somewhere. I saw their paperwork. They had a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo, walking distance from the beach, which is kind of cool, but it was $2,500 per month. And I remember thinking, wow, I cannot believe they got duped like that. They're gonna pay that much money for that home. Fast forward, guys, I'm living next to studio apartments that are costing $2,500 a month. The rent is going up. So let's step out of, oh, that's expensive, and start thinking about your life. Like, what do you really want to have? So the first mistake I made was thinking like a renter. Do not think like a renter if you're trying to be a homeowner. Think about your life. Think about longevity. And you already know this, but when you're paying rent, you are still paying a mortgage. You're just paying someone else's. So why not take a page out of their playbook? Have somebody pay your rent. That's what I ended up doing. I ended up purchasing my first home, not in LA County where I actually really wanted to be, but in Riverside County, because it was so much cheaper, so much more affordable, and I got a way bigger house for my money. After quite some time, I made it an Airbnb. Later, I made it a long-term rental. That long-term rental pays my rent in Los Angeles. So think about it this way. The value of a home goes up over time. My home is paying for itself. It's gaining equity. I'm gaining a larger percentage of ownership, and hello, it pays for itself. I'm only responsible for my rent, or I can flip it, right? Or I can think about it the other way. That home pays my rent. I just pay the mortgage, which, fun fact, is cheaper than my rent. Rent's too damn high, man. The second mistake I made was thinking that I needed 20% down to buy a home. Luckily, I dove real deep into my options there, and I had a great realtor at the time that helped me out. I explored different lending options. I explored some FHA programs until I learned, okay, wait, I have to pay some of that money back? Like, I don't like that. One of the biggest mistakes I made before I was a realtor when I was buying my home was not taking advantage of free money. There's all sort of programs out there. And guys, if you go ahead, go to the link in the description below. I have a literal list of first-time buyer programs. Go ahead and click the link in the description so you can get that list for yourself. Because man, I didn't know this stuff existed. There's so many programs out there that make you go through extensive training programs in order to earn a grant to one day buy a home, and then one day you sell the home and you have to pay the money back. Nah, man, I'm not about that life. I want that free money and I want you to have it too, okay? So go ahead and get my list in the link in the description below so you're well informed of all the money that's out there for you. California wants you to own a home, guys. Don't be like me. Go ahead and take advantage of all that money that they're throwing out there for your benefit. Another mistake I made on my journey to become a homeowner was getting pre-qualified with the wrong lenders. I kind of just threw my hat in the ring with a few different lenders that sounded good, just wanted to see my options. Meanwhile, I was racking up credit inquiries. I should have been able to ask specific questions to weed them out. Like, what is your criteria? What are you looking for? They're always going to tell you it depends. Can we do a soft pull before we do a hard inquiry based on the information I'm telling you about my finances, right? Or better yet, if I had a realtor that was really giving me a lot of lending options, that would have been even better. I have a list of go-to lenders. They work nationally. It's not just California. So keep that in mind. If you're living in a different area, they can still help you out, okay? I should have went with the lender that gave me the least amount of drama, that closed on time, and that gave me the most competitive rate. And off the top, your agent should be able to point you in the direction of the most competitive offer. I ended up closing with a really great lender in the end, but I had to kiss a lot of frogs to get there and get a lot of inquiries in the process. And quite frankly, it just wasn't necessary and it was more drama than I would like. Avoid the drama, just collect information, talk to a trusted realtor that can recommend you at least 3 different lenders, or maybe work with a mortgage broker so that you can have fewer inquiries and they can compete against each other for the best deal. Do not ever go to only one lender. Don't do one lender. Be judicious about who you should get pre-qualified with. Decide what's most important to you. Do you want the best rate? Do you want someone that gives out free money and helps you out with closing costs? That's what I ended up with, and I was pretty happy with that. I was happy to save 10 grand while purchasing my home. When you save that 10 grand, is it more of a grant where it's forgiven, or do they just tack it on to the back of the home loan and do you pay interest on it for 30 years? These are questions you want to ask. Who's going to make your life the easiest? That's who you want to get pre-qualified with. They're all going to tell you good things. Go with your gut. One thing I actually did right, and I'm happy I did this, I did not wait for the perfect housing market to purchase my home. In 2020, 2021, the housing market was hyper competitive. Interest rates were crazy low. I made offer after offer after offer, and I was outbid all the time, guys. It was not a fun time for me. I started to think, well, what am I even here for? But then those interest rates started to go up and people started exiting the market. They're like, look, I am not going to pay that much money for these homes. Demand really slowed down. I saw that as my chance to get in the market with the house that I actually really, truly wanted. The home itself was only on the market for like 24 hours before I made my offer. I was the first person to see it and I locked it in. It was nothing to me. I didn't even really think about it. I've been wanting this for so long. My interest rate was a little higher than I wanted, like a lot higher than I wanted. I watched them go up for months and finally it was my chance, so I had to take it. So I married the house and I dated the rate. And after about 1.5 years, I refinanced into a lower rate to save money in the long run. You're hopefully buying a home you're going to be in for a bare minimum like 5 years, right? You date the rate, that can change, but where you live, that doesn't change. So one thing I did right, and I'm hoping you do right as well, please get the house that you want. Of course, watch your wallet, make sure it's actually affordable for you, be responsible, right? You know your limits, hopefully you know your limits. You know how much you can afford each month. So if you go over that budget, decide right here and now what's gonna go instead. Because if you're gonna marry the house and date the rate, then make sure you're comfortable with those payments, because that was one sacrifice I had to make. I had to make those payments because I wanted that house. And I don't regret it. It worked out for me. So make sure you love your home enough to make those kinds of sacrifices. So I don't want to be a hypocrite. I know I just said marry the house and date the rate, but keep this in mind, first-time home buyers or soon-to-be first-time home buyers. Your first home does not have to be your forever home. You don't have to stay there forever. You just have to make it work for you. Make your home serve you. It could be for a time and place. It could be for the time that you're working fully remote and before you have to go back to the office. It could be because you want to be next to your grandparents. Make it truly work for you, okay? Don't think that just because it's a home, just because it's on a foundation, that you have to stay there forever, because you don't. As you can see, you have options. And people often think you have to buy your home alone. You don't. You really don't. If you can find one other person, doesn't even have to be a significant other, to purchase with, you should do it. Draw up your paperwork ahead of time. If you're looking for a resource where you can draft up co-buying agreements, legally binding agreements, or go ahead and reach out to me directly. My contact info is located at the end of the video. This is a resource I only share with people that are serious about collaborating to purchase property. It is a commitment, and so is committing to live in Los Angeles, knowing that it's so expensive to be here. Like, we're all making commitments and sacrifices here. And speaking as someone that has been very open about the possibility of co-buying in the past, I specialize in helping people through the co-buying process when you're not married, when you're not a couple. So I'd love to talk to you and help you through the process. Make sure you're ready for that transition. So ditch the old model of married with kids and we have to buy a house with a white picket fence, and get in where you fit in. Get in with somebody that has a like mind as you, that wants to live in the same neighborhood as you, that has a similar lifestyle to you, so you can plant your roots at home for whatever time amount you decide to be there. I gave you all this gold here, but I didn't even introduce myself. My name is Amber. I'm your South Bay LA realtor. I'm giving you all the tips you need to build wealth with your home. I gave you a lot of gold here, but I'm gonna narrow it down to just the first few things that you really need to do. Number one, find the free money. Link in the description below. I'm helping you out with that one. Do not pay for everything yourself. Why would you do that? Don't do that. Use the resources right in front of you. Make your lender actually work for you. They are going to get interest on your purchase for the foreseeable next 30 years, most of you. So make them work for it, right? I'll give you an example. On a purchase of a $300,000 home, you're going to probably pay over $700,000 over the lifetime of the loan. That means you bought that house twice. Guess who's getting every dollar over $300,000? The person that loaned you the money. Make them work. Don't forget, you gotta get creative. It's okay not to follow the model of your parents or your grandparents. Stay open to possibility. If you want roots, you can have them. You might compromise on location. You might compromise by not living alone. It's up to you if you want to sacrifice or raise your income up to get to the goal. Up to you. Honestly, I just want to make sure you're happy at the end of the day, okay? So just whatever choice you make, just know that homeownership is super possible for you. And I know you might think that renting is the easier way to go, but in the long run, it's just setting you up. And I don't want to see you set up at the end of the day. Short term, if it works for you, do what you got to do, right? But we're here for the long haul, and I'm here for you too. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more winning home ownership tips. I'm Amber Hickman, your South Bay LA realtor, and I'm going to see you on the next one. Bye.